Showtime!
It's about that time.
Let's go!
You're right where you need to be. This is GCOM Radio.
Hardest radio station on the planet. Yeah!
Powered by Lyfeblood.com.
We certified.
And hosted by Nova Phoenix.
Give them that flavor.
Yes. Man, I'm here, folks. I am here. What a wonderful week. What a wonderful day. I am loving every bit of it, man. You got to love life, man, because we only get one ride. What is going on, everyone? You are back for another show with me as your host. How has your week been? Hopefully, what do I usually say? Beautiful and painful all at the same time, man, because they're both lovely lessons when we're doing our thing in this thing called life. Wow, somebody's calling me, but I'm not picking up the phone, but it's so good. Yeah, man. So, I got a few things I'm going to talk about here, a lot of one or two things, so I can fill out this week. It is coming to an end. It is coming to an end as far as this new year. Where has this new year gone? It's no longer new. It's practically, in terms of human years, this year 2021 is an old man at this point. But yeah, what's going on with this 2021? I remember when 2021 started. It was coming out of 2020. That's like the year of COVID, and we had to go through all those deaths and sheltering in and everything. So people were looking up that 2021 was going to be bigger and better, and we would be on the upswing as far as dealing with COVID. Cities would be fully open, and we would go back to some sort of normalcy. Of course, the normalcy that we did have previously before COVID. We'll never have that again. But we're hopefully into a new a round of the norms. Of course, with slight differences, everything changes. That's one thing that will always be consistent, and that's change. But yeah, we're coming to the end of 2021, and man, we got a couple more weeks, and then we're into 2022. So I'm looking forward to 2022 as always. Always looking for bigger and brighter things. I'm always a hopeful individual. So hopefully you guys have had a great 2021, even though we're still dealing with this COVID, all different types of variants that are coming here and there from one month to the next. But, we're still vigilant. We're still on guard and making sure this thing doesn't become bigger than it is in all of the craziness that we understand it to be. But we are here, man, and it feels like just yesterday, and now we're here now. So I'm coming to the last few shows of 2021. GCOM Radio will not be, this is usually what I do at the end of the year. I always take time off just to hang out with family and try to get with friends and everything like that, and kind of like unwind and decompress of everything, the rat race or the schedule that is an ongoing thing. I usually start, probably I'm gonna let me see, pop this calendar open. I see the last show would probably be as far as Wednesdays, when it normally comes out on Wednesdays. I sometimes some things have happened recently where it's been popping up on Thursdays, but usually the show airs on Wednesdays. So my bad, folks, if you haven't been getting the show on Wednesdays, if you've been looking for it. But the last show will probably be, it definitely will be the 15th. I wasn't sure if it was going to be the 8th or the 15th. I think the last show is going to be the 15th. And I will be back in the new year, probably in the first or second week of January of 2022. So I think it's necessary to take a break. There's some other people that do podcasts and shows, everything on YouTube that I still watch in between me doing my thing. And they keep going, man. Even in Christmas, they keep going. And I tell myself, even for last year, I was like, should I keep doing some like little one-offs, nothing really prepared, just going off to the top of the head, and it doesn't have to be super long. It could be like 15 minutes, right? And just a little bit, just to keep, people, I guess, in touch with me, and I can be in touch with you guys. And if anything that's really happening, I could do a quick shot. It never really happens like that. It never really happens. Like, I want to get it on a mic and really, maybe I'll do something for this 2021. But usually I'm like, and I just feel like if I leave it for 2022, it's old news, especially if it's something like really important. But I think I'll see what I can do. I'll see if I'm going to be really, see if I do any one-offs. But yeah, the last date will be the last airing of the 2021 show. GCOM Radio will be the 15th, and then I'll be back probably the second week of January, just to give me some. Like I said, when you roll in all the time, rain, sleet, or snow, you like you the mailman from the United States Postal Service, you're gonna give a show unless something like really crazy happens or something emergency or whatever. But usually it's like a show every week, 52 weeks. So you'll get usually about 50 shows from me roughly for the year. So yeah, and I say because of that, I'm like, yo, man, why? I mean, I gotta give myself some time to unwind, to really enjoy the holidays as it is, and that's why I take that month off and come back. But you never know. I wish you guys a happy holidays. The closer it comes to Christmas and New Year's and all that good stuff. Yeah, but yeah. So let's go on and get this show on the road. I got some things that definitely is on my mind, that certain news has been hitting the airwaves and hitting online publications on that. So let's go. So yeah, I am your host, Nova Phoenix, on GCOM Radio on iHeartRadio. And we're going to get started with the first topic of the day and what's going on. It's Michael Vick. Everybody knows Michael Vick. He used to be the ex-quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons, and I'm pretty sure that's who he is. And I was a fan, and you could be like, yo, if you was a fan, how you not going to know Michael Vick is the the ex-quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons? I'm pretty sure. Excuse me. So anyway, of course, I know his number. Yeah, Atlanta Falcons. His number was 7. He played a little bit for Philadelphia Eagles, Pittsburgh Steelers, and the New York Jets. I think that's like a little bit later on after his stint in jail. But anyway, so I mostly know him from the Atlanta Falcons as a quarterback. Everybody knows what happened to Michael Vick back in the day. He was caught for dog fighting and mistreatment of animals. Mistreatment of dogs in particular, and it was caught. It was considered a big scandal at the time. It got so big, my man went to court. He was convicted and charged with, I don't know, animal endangerment or something. I don't know what the specific charge, but he was charged for the mistreatment and abuse of animals, dogs, and he went to jail. I think he went to jail for like 4 years. 4 years. This is like back, and you know what? I love dogs, and I plan to get a dog. And I just have to figure out what I'm going to get. So there's a couple things that as far as dogs are concerned, is either going to be a Vizsla, a boxer, or it could be a boxer-dor, a mix between a boxer and a Labrador. Or a chocolate lab. So there's a couple of, I hate drooly dogs. I hate small dogs. Usually a mid-sized dog, and I think those are beautiful breeds to have. But that being said, even the things that Michael Vick went through, and they were saying that how these dogs are treated, and it's some real sadistic stuff as far as killing them because they weren't fit to fight. So I don't think he was directly involved as far as like killing these dogs or whatever people were saying about them. But of course, it was on his property, I believe. He got convicted and he went to jail for a little bit. And I was surprised. I really thought that Michael Vick was going to be, he's going to do a PSA. He was probably going to pay some money to some organization dealing with the respect of animals. And I thought that was going to be it, and he was going to go back to, playing football. Because there are a lot of quarterbacks that get caught up in some other bullshit, like beating their wives, and somehow they continue to play the game. So that's really, I'm like, okay, they're dogs. Like I said, I love dogs, but all right, he fucked up. All right, and PSA, and split with some bucks, and did some animal nonprofit, and all right, he went to jail. He went to jail. I believe. Let me see if I can hear. So he spent full partner in the dogfighting ring, and he was sentenced to 23 months. Damn, 2 years. I don't know if he did the whole 23, but after he spent that time in jail, man, he got back out. He of course he kicked it to the NFL, saying, "Hey, I want to come back. And he eventually did come back. I think that's when he was with the Jets. I believe so. But yeah, he eventually did come back, and he played for a short period of time, and then he retired. And let me tell you something. After he did that stint in jail with those dogs, and he got back on the field, he was never the same, man. He wasn't the same, for me anyway. It wasn't that same Michael Vick that he had such an arm. To me, he was better than Tom Brady at the time, and I feel that if he wasn't interrupted with this whole situation with the dogs, I think he would have made the numbers to beat Tom Brady. That's just my opinion, because I feel he was that good. When I was putting my eyes on this dude that was dropping back, or and he could run his ass off. This dude, you guys got to watch the footage. This dude could run his ass off. He was evading. He was evading the defense in every which way. He was breaking ankles like it was a basketball game. And then people started to get on him, being like, oh, he's always running. He never tosses the ball. And it started to get to the point where the noise was so much, because he was like, whatever, I'm playing the game. But the noise got to be so much where he was like, all right, cool. You think I'm a quarterback that runs? All right, I'm going to stay in the pocket. He would drop by like 2 or 3 steps, and then he would look for that target, and he would toss that shit, rocket it over the field, man, that 20 yards or whatever. Yeah, and he did what he did. He stayed in the pocket, and he shut those motherfuckers up. He wasn't running. He stayed in the pocket looking for his target, his wide receivers, whoever, and he tossed it, and he was making numbers. The end of that bullshit talk. So this dude had everything. He could run. He could toss the ball. This dude could toss the ball from like the 20-yard line. Oh, he would just flick his arm. He even looked like he was putting effort into it. And you didn't see a body move or nothing. Not one single body part other than the arm that was holding the ball. He would just flick it. Pop, and that thing would go. I've never seen, probably Montana, right? Joe Montana, San Francisco 49ers, possibly. But I never seen a quarterback do it as effortlessly as what Michael Vick did. And but when he went to jail and he came back, to me, he just wasn't the same, man. He wasn't the same. He owed money at the time he went to jail, so he had to pay it. Of course, he had to come back. I think right after he started doing some talking and, hosting of some sports shows. But anyway, the reason why I brought it up, because I haven't seen Vic in a long time, and there was a recent article in the Washington Post, and the article's title was called "Michael Vick Found the Future, but His Past is Still Chasing Him." And I'm like, really? Really? Are we still talking about those damn dogs? And I love dogs. I'm going to get a dog. And I hate to see how dogs are mistreated. But I'm like, God damn. Are we still talking about those damn dogs? I have never heard a situation that's happened to a quarterback that hangs on to this dude like herpes. Like I said, there are quarterbacks that has done way worse. And people don't talk about the situation like how they talk about Michael Vick and those damn dogs. You know what I mean? Excuse me, I had something in my throat. I'm like, really? And then I'm reading this. I saw it on Facebook, right? And I'm reading it, and I'm looking at the comments, and the comments is like the vitriol. Like people, I'm like, this one message this dude said, I had to respond because it was getting ridiculous. I was like, yo, are you having sexual relations with dogs, with canine? Because the way you talking, like people were saying he should have never been back to the NFL. I stopped watching it since then. He should I mean, the words, like if let me see if I can find some, like the way I had to say something. I'm like, yo, folks, relax, this dude. And I got some responses. And people was just, people were all, folks, and I'm like, yo, is this about the dogs, really? Because it just don't seem so, because that's what I was saying about the guy. I was like, yo, are you sure this is about dogs? Like, here it is. All right, I found it. Let me see if I can find some more here. Can I find it? Oh, man. I knew I was going to lose it, and I was going to lose my place. And I can't seem to find it. I can't find it. Anyway, but the words that, like, you would think that this dude snuck into someone's house late at night and cold raped a family member or something, like a grandma. I'm like, yo, this did, and it was this, the dog situation happened over 15 years ago. And I'm like, when are you folks gonna let it go? He did his time. He went to jail. I'm sure he feels bad about it. He said it a number of times where he went down the wrong road with what he did with those animals, and he was just trying to move on. But people won't let it go, yo. Man, I tell you, boy. I'm like, I've been left that behind. I'm like, hey, I want to see Michael Vick succeed. I want to see my man do what he does post-football. He was a great football player. He was a great quarterback. He was one of a kind. I mean, this guy, the type of breed that quarterback breed that he was a superhero, straight up. And to hear people still harping on this dog thing, it's sad. But I wish Michael Vick the best. I definitely will tune in if I have the time. And I'm not doing anything. I'll definitely tune in to see Michael Vick talking and just keep on building a career in the sports arena. You know what I mean? Yeah. Virgil Abloh. Unfortunately, this brother, important brother in the fashion business. It's sad to hear that this brother passed away from cancer. He rolled with Kanye West for a little bit. Doing some work with him, and I didn't know he had his hands in so many things. So he was a Louis Vuitton veteran designer, and he had a wife and 2 kids, and it just like the same situation with my brother Bozeman, and I can't believe my man, just like this brother had died, and I forgot him. I was talking to some folks, and it's funny that even Chadwick, he took a picture with Chadwick at the time. Of course, at the time, nobody knew that Virgil Abloh or Chadwick had cancer, but they were dealing with it with dignity and with their heads held high. And it's unfortunate that this brother passed away. But like I said, he was a fashion designer for Louis Vuitton. He designed sneakers with his own brand, Off-White, for Nike. He DJ'd at music events. He was a creative director, like I said, for Kanye's design agency. He did a couple of albums, and I didn't even know that. Kanye album covers, I didn't know that. And he designed a concept car for Benz and for IKEA. I believe it's a furniture for first-time home buyers. So he had his hands in a lot of different things. And to find out that another bright soul died prematurely from cancer, it just gets me upset that human beings are being ravaged by this disease, and I can't understand how we give so much money. And I'm not saying anything, trust me, I'm not saying anything about any of these nonprofit cancer organizations trying to figure out the cure for cancer, but I just like, from time, year after year, decade after decade, I just feel like human beings are we're losing to cancer. And it's the funniest. I don't understand how we can't figure this cancer thing out, man. I believe in science and whatever steps that they're taking to create some cures for cancer, I'm with. but I also believe in alternative medicine and going the non-traditional routes to try to figure out how to eradicate cancer, wiping it off the face of this earth. And I want to be able to look back, or not even for me, but generations in the future can look back 100 years and say, wow, I remember when human beings suffered from cancer. And it's just so many different types of cancer. It's crazy. The lungs, the mouth, the gums, the heart is what this brother had. Virgil Abloh's. It was a disease that affected the heart and the liver, the low intestines, and oh my God, there's so many different versions of cancer. It's crazy. And for this brother to die, man, condolences to his family and all his friends, his close friends, having to deal with this painful event in time. So Godspeed, Virgil Abloh. Thank you for being here and contributing to the culture and building a legacy for your children. Yeah, man. I was, as far as articles is concerned, and I was looking up, and I forgot what I was looking up, and I was looking something up. I'm always looking something up, right? I'm stuck to my chair. I'm always on a computer really trying to see what's happening out there and dealing with the business with Lyfeblood and, reaching out, doing research and, looking at all these articles. I think I have about 70 plus websites that I visit on the regular because I'm trying to key into information on what's going, whether it's fashion, technology, business, lifestyle, medicine, any and everything under the sun. I try to be as up to date with information as I possibly can, especially when I'm doing this podcast. I'm just tired of paywalls, man. It seems like most of all, especially the bigger legacy publications, online publications, like say for instance, Bloomberg.com, which I do pay for. And I'm like, yo, they get into this information. So this is the thing where they feed you a little bit of information about 2-3 paragraphs. And then when you scroll down, all of a sudden, you are hit with the advertisement to sign up for this particular publication. Yo, let me tell you something, man. Like I said, I'm on 70 plus goddamn websites that I go through from time to time. You think if all of these damn publications, you think that I'm going to pay damn near $20 a piece for each of these, and not all of them is $20. Some are though. Some are. Some have the audacity to ask you for $30 a month for their publication. I'm sure they probably doing the numbers, and they got a lot of overhead. You know what I mean? They got to pay the porter, they got to pay the editor and the writers and the advertising and all different things that are associated with having an online public. Yeah, I get it. I do get it. I understand. But I'll be damned if I'm going to pay $20 to look at a site that, sometimes I may be all in it one week and then I don't see it anymore. Now, some other publications, they are asking for like $1 or $2. I can get that a month. I get that, right? I get that. But then if I pay all these goddamn websites a piece, I'll be paying like $150. And some people are like, come on, though, that's $150. But you don't understand. That's a lot of money that they're just going out to just trying to stay abreast of everything. What happened to good old advertising where that's where online publications got their money, all right? Even when it was offline, it was magazines. That's how they paid. They paid in advertising, having an advertising budget, all right? They're having different, like having freaking Lysol and clothes and all different types of products in their magazine, and that's how they pay for everything. Now it's like, oh my God, everybody is in on the hustle. Everybody wants you to sign up to their subscription. And I'm like, God damn, I enjoy just popping open in this goddamn website and reading what I want to read. Now I got to pay y'all. I'm being cheap, right? Especially with everything that I am, right? Sometimes, you want to save a buck. Nobody says that being a CEO or founder of a company that you are not willing, you're not still also a consumer. All right. I would like to save a buck. I'm about to give my car up, folks. I'm about to give my car up. And right now, I'm trying to figure out which is the next car I'm going to get. And I would like to save a couple dollars. Now, I tell you, I pay a lot. I pay a lot. I even pay a lot for a hoopty. It's not exactly a hoopty, but it's a base model. I'm going to drive a Hyundai. Not going to be in the next couple months. But, okay, there's two things that I will pay for. There's two things I'll pay for, folks. I will pay for a house without a problem. That's my domicile. Your house has to be right. And I will pay for a car. That's the only things I would pay for. I don't care about clothes. I'm not a jewelry person. Because back in the day when I was younger, my mother used to give me gold all the time. She would give me a gold necklace. She'd give me a gold wristband. And then I would just I would go in the shower, I would take it off and never put it back on. Or something happens where I would have to take it off and I put it down and then I would lose it. I'm like, damn, where did I put that bracelet? So a couple times I did that and it got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm not wearing jewelry anymore. Yo, jewelry is not for me. Now, I don't wear rings. I don't wear necklaces. I don't wear nothing. I don't wear nothing, man. So, yeah, I won't pay for jewelry, folks. I'm not the baguettes type of guy and diamonds and all that's not me. And I've gotten to the point where I'm not even about like sneakers. Possibly. Don't trip out if you see me in Air Force Ones and you be like, yo, no, I thought you was in the sneakers. No, I'm not in the sneakers. But if I see something I like, I may buy it. But more than likely, you'll see me in some like knockoff joints. I really don't care. I really don't care. I'm more like in a way, a lot like, you know, you see the billionaires say like Bill Gates. And that's the thing that gets me. You see the top tier founders, CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, they have billions of dollars, and you never see them wear anything expensive. And even if they're wearing something expensive, it doesn't look expensive. You're like, oh, that's a nice jacket. That's cool. All right. It looks like a little, like, you know, what's that jacket from back in the 80s? Members only jackets, right? It looks pretty mundane. Next thing you know, it's like $1,000 jacket. It's crazy. But even that, it's not like I would go out and search for $1,000 jackets. If it looks nice, I'll buy it, right? If it's Sean John, I will buy it. If it's any company, I would, sure, why not? But I'm not the flashy type. The only thing, like I said, I would pay for that you would know that it's something that would be my house and my car. And I'm not saying I will have and I'm not talking in terms of car. I'm not talking about like a Lamborghini or Ferrari or, a Maybach. No, that's not me. But you'll see me in a Tesla. Any futuristic car, any concept car, any car that's an electric vehicle, you'll see me in. And right now, there's a lot of competition that's coming out. That's coming out against Tesla. It's like, oh, sure, sure, why not? You know what I mean? I definitely test out a prototype. So anything, I'm a futurist. That's the type of person that I am. I'm low key, and I'm a Tesla fan. Always have been, always will. But I definitely will check out these other companies that are coming out. So yeah, that's just me. But yeah, in terms of all these paywalls, man, it's so annoying, man. They hate reading the article, and you get to the second or third paragraph, and all of a sudden they hit you with bam, pay us $20. And you can see and read the rest of this article. I'm like, fuck you. I'll probably do that at one point when I'm ready, and it's not a big deal. So, yeah, but for those that are in my position and would rather not, I understand your pain. You understand where I'm coming from. An article came out. They're saying that they found marijuana in Connecticut. They unfortunately, there were a lot of people that got poisoned by fentanyl-laced marijuana. NCT, that's crazy, man. So they're saying a string of people suffer from this fentanyl-laced weed. They said 11 cases in July, 9 in August, and from September 10th, I guess. September was 10, and then October 1st to the 26th, they found another 8 or something like that. Some craziness. So definitely they got steady numbers from month to month of people suffering from fentanyl poisoning. And it's unfortunate, man. I don't know where people are getting this weed from. I don't know where they're getting this weed from. Now, I was a weed smoker for a long time. I don't smoke weed anymore. If the time is right, possibly, probably. I don't know. And I just want to pick it up for anybody. It have to be very controlled. But yeah, I haven't smoked in since I was 28. I stopped smoking. I stopped smoking because I wanted to work out, and at the time I was getting a job, and I just couldn't smoke anymore. So I just made a decision I would stop. But before that, I was smoking for about 10 years, about that, roughly. I was smoking every day, and I was a late bloomer. My friends started smoking when they were 15, 14. I know people at 12. I'm like, damn, bro. Young, but I think most of the people that I know that smoked at 15, 16. I smoked my first joint at, here I go, joint. My first spliff, as they say, and even that's an old word. At 21, when I turned 21, man, it was crazy. It was New Year's Eve, and I was like, fuck it. Let me I smoke weed. Everybody was like, don't do drugs, and I'm here now, and let me smoke it. So I was with my man at the time, my boy, and we went outside, of course. I think we was in Harlem or the Bronx, one of them. And he's like, all right, let's get that joint. We went to the local bodega, and we, let's hit that off. And it was his sister's jump off in an apartment. We got that joint, smoked the weed. So, he rolled it up because I ain't never rolled it, so I don't know. So he rolled it up, and I'm smoking it. I'm like, man, this is what weed is? This ain't shit. I'm like, taking a long drive. I'm like, man, all right, cool. This is like cigarettes, I guess. Yeah, this is what it is, right? So I went inside. We watching the ball drop. Everybody conversating, eating, drinking, whatever, chilling out. And watching the ball drop, and all of a sudden, right before the ball drop, oh, did that anvil hit me like a motherfucker. It's bam! Everything started moving in slow motion. It was like a slow-mo movie. I was like, oh, yeah. Yo, that shit hit me. I was waving my palm in front of my hands like, am I really going through this? Yo, that shit hit me like an anvil. I don't know what that shit was, but I was permanently in slow motion. And I had to work the next day. That's the fucked up part. I had to work the next day. I was in slow motion, and I ate. We was laughing. We was a good old time. I was still high on the train. Yeah, I was high on the train. I was like, oh, yeah. And I was high even into the next day. In the morning, I was still high. I was still having those slow motion effects. And people was like, yo, how was your New Year's? Yeah, it was good, man. Smoked some bombastic. What? And yo, I'm still feeling it. Yo, it was quite a time, bro. Quite a time, yo. So after that, I was a smoker. Yeah, I was smoking every day, man. I would come home, man. I was like, and I didn't know how to roll. I would just buy it, though. I knew who to buy it from on the corner. I used to live on St. John's and Ocean Avenue, down there in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. And yeah, man, it was crazy. I smoke, come home. I mean, we lived in a 3-story walk up. Man, that fucking building was filled with smoke. So you already knew my peoples was on. So I come home from work, and then I'll open up the door, and it's like, what? Oh, it's like hearing Bob Marley coming in. No one. What? Wait, don't worry. What? About the thing. Cause everything gonna be alright. Yeah, it was almost like that. Like, it was just heavy smoke in the air. I'm like, yo, people already started without me. So my boy would have his joint. My other dude, he would come from his job. He had his joint. Yo, and then I would come home. Of course, I had mine. And then we were just like, yo, all right, we smoke yours. We get a plate. We go around the corner to oh my God, what's the name of the place? It was Marie's. Was it Marie's? Oh, they closed down on some bullshit. Marie's in Brooklyn. Was it Marie's? Oh man, I can't. Marie. Yeah, it was Maria's. It was Maria's, man. Was it Marie? Oh man, I can't remember the joint. It had to be Maria's, man. But nah. Oh man, I can't remember it. It was in Crown Heights. Let me see if I can find it right quick. On Nostrand Avenue. It was a West Indian joint. Of course, everybody know I always eat that. It was Marie's. Was it? No, nah, man, I can't remember. It was actually, I think it was Talib Kweli and Kweli and the cook, the famous cook that he committed suicide in Brooklyn. They went there just because he was going around. Jordan, shit, I cannot remember. See, that's how fucked up it is, man. Brooklyn, eatery. Let me see. I'm just doing keyword search because it was online. Let me see. Oh man, Anthony Bourdain. So it was Anthony Bourdain. Anthony, hold on, folks. I want to get the name of this place because it was a great Anthony Bourdain, Brooklyn eatery. Bomb. Let me see if I can find it. Sitting down in Brooklyn. Oh man, this is not the joint. Nah, bro. Nah. It was, not fun, yo. Glorious. Oh, Marie. It was the name. It was Glorious. The name of the joint was Glorious. It used to be on one side of Nostrand, and then all of a sudden they moved to the other side. So, Anthony Bourdain was there. Let me see if it is on there. Anthony Bourdain, Glorious. Great place, man. It was a family-owned business. Man, I swear. Oh, it was not Talib. It was Michael K. Williams. Oh, man. Michael K., my brother. Yeah, Michael K. went to Glorious with Anthony Bourdain. And he got oxtail rice and peas and then mac and cheese, curry goat. Man, I remember that. I was like, oh, they in my joint. Glorious was a great place. There was some bullshit that happened as far as it was crazy. It was something like the original owner who owned Glorious bought it from one guy, one Jewish guy, and another Jewish guy. That guy wasn't the real owner. He actually took over from a friend of his who was the real owner. And the family member who was paying the first Jewish guy was like, oh, I really don't own this place. And the original owner was like, yo, he never really owned this place. And it was crazy. They lost the spot. It was unfortunate, man. Glorious was like, they were around for a long time. And further down Nostrand on the other side of Empire Boulevard, there was another Glorious. I don't know if that was still open, but it was unfortunate that that whole situation went down. And they were the original owner was trying to sue the family member of Glorious. Man, shout out to the whole family of Glorious. It was a family business. I went there all the time. Of course, I was getting my plates there. And that's what I did, man. I would get my smokes coming home from work, especially if it was a Friday. And then I would go to Glorious because, man, you know how food always tastes that much better after you know what I mean? You have your little session, you know what I mean? And went to Glorious. I got my oxtail. At the time, I probably more than likely it was oxtail. I would get that. We get the plate. My boys would get their plate. We come back. Speak with the family a little bit. Bounce, come back, roll up, smoke, and then we would eat. And then we would play Madden. Get on a game of Madden. Oh my God, those are the times, man. Back in the day, Brooklyn. I'm always going to be a Brooklyn kid. I'm always going to be a Brooklyn boy, man. All the time, every day, all day. Shout out to Brooklyn, man. Shout out to everybody that's in Brooklyn, even the new residents of Brooklyn. Shout out to y'all, man. Just Brooklyn just get too expensive. I'm like, yo, what? How much you want for this joint? They call it luxury rentals. I'm like, yo, all right, whatever. How much? $3,000. Yo, get out of here. Come on, let's make it affordable for the people, man. Let's make it affordable for the people. You know what that is. That's capitalism at its best and its worst, however you want to take it. But yeah, those were the times, man. I had a lot of good times around them parts, a lot of good memories. I moved all over the place in Brooklyn, man. But that's one of I loved it, especially when it came to having Labor Day. Of course, you know how that was, West Indian Day Parade. I was right off the block. Everybody, you from Brooklyn, you know what I'm talking about. I was on St. John's and Nostrand. I just had to walk like 2 blocks, and I was right there on the Parkway. I was doing Juve. Man, Juve. I think I did. I didn't do Juve every year, but I did Juve like at least 3 or 4 times. And then, of course, you going to knock out when you come back because Juve is an all-night thing. The thing is, you're supposed to do Juve, and then you're supposed to roll right into the parade. So, of course, that ain't work out. You smoke some trees, fall asleep for like 2 or 3 hours, and we head right back out on the Parkway chilling. And I had my man to live on Parkway. Shout out to my man, Av. What up, Av? We go to my man, Av, right there on Franklin Avenue in Nostrand. And we would just kick it, man. His whole family would come out. His sisters would come out. Everybody, you know what I mean? And we had a good time, just chilling right there on the steps in the front. We go to the gate, and we right there on the Parkway. We were in it, you know what I mean? Walking up and down the block, buying food or buying clothes or whatever like that. Whatever that fit our fancy at the moment. Sometimes we would jump in the parade. You know what it is, the floats. And then just enjoying it, man. Looking at all the islands coming through and repping. And, shout out to the West Indian Day Parade, all my Caribbean folk. Shout out to them. It was a joy, man. It was so fun. And then welcome back. I remember plenty of nights coming home on a 3 train, coming back from parties and stuff like that, and then jumping on the 3. You know what I mean? And then going home right there on Nostrand, right there. Yeah, man, it was fun. It was fun. Where was I? I forgot where it was at. Yeah, we was talking about weed. Yeah, we was talking about weed. Yo, that's messed up. So anyway, in terms of weed is concerned, my bad. I just went off on a tangent. So in terms of weed, you have to be careful who you buy from. You know what I mean? You have to be careful. That's the thing when you buy off the block, or you buy from people you don't know, because there is a likelihood of people lacing their weed just so they get a better hit, or sometimes people don't even know what they do, and all of a sudden you get a bad little batch, and all of a sudden I had a few. I had probably in my time, not a lot, probably had like 2-3 episodes, and I was spaced out where it was like, wait a second, something in this. And there was one time I was just sweating my ass off. I'm like, why am I sweating? It's not that hot. And I had some lace weed, man. I had some lace weed, and that's just the name of the game. If you're gonna buy from people you don't know, which was very rare, but there were times where it's a late night. You want to go out. So what you did, you just went out on the block, and you know who you know. And be like, yo, what's up, man? I ain't seen you in a minute. Yo, what's really good? You got that, man? Yeah, I got that. Yo, hit me with a 20 sack. And then, my man would be right back. And then, you hit him and you go back to the crib. And sometimes it just be late night and you don't got no weed. And you're like, yo, son, you got some weed? Nah, I ain't got no weed. All right, let's go out. And that's how it worked. And then that's how you come back with some fucked up shit. And, but never like as far as this fentanyl thing. Like, this is a new thing. As far as fentanyl is concerned, as far as, getting into weed, that's a new thing, man. It's scary. It's scary. Now, of course, you would buy from people you know. There were some people that we knew on the block on FA. That's Franklin Avenue for those folks that don't know what I'm talking about. Shout out to FA. Shout out to all my folks, from back in the day that was on Franklin Avenue back in the 90s and the 2000s. And shout out to the gentrifiers. That's, oh my God, Franklin Avenue, this is great. Yeah, but from back in the, I'm talking about FA from back in the day. Let me tell you something. When you fall asleep on that train and you wake up, one definite sign you was going in the right direction and you were closer home when all the white people be going off the train. when all the white people gone, you getting closer home because all the white people got off at like closer Eastern Parkway, Grand Army Plaza, you know what I mean? You be like, shit, when you got close to FA, you in that dark tunnel, and you just wake up, you looking left and right. Yo, where am I at? You look at who's sitting there. Oh, I'm close to home. Ain't no white people. You know what I mean? And sometimes you wake up like in last minute, oh shit, that's my train. You just hop off as the doors is closing. That's a New York thing, man. Shout out to everybody in New York. But yeah, that was the thing, man. We would just hop out and then, jump out and go through the turnstile. But yeah, that's what it was, man. When white folks is gone, or you still see white people, like, yeah, I'm still in Lower Manhattan. And you close your eyes again, you know what I mean? But now it's like, you see white folk getting off of Franklin Avenue. Fuck Franklin Avenue. You see white folk getting off way past, like when you on the 3 side. And you going in the deeper part of Bed-Stuy, now it's like, it's all mixed up. You know what it is, the new developments in Brooklyn. You see those new transplants. Not that you ain't have white folks coming home on a 2 train on the last stop on the Flatbush Avenue, because Flatbush, the last stop of Flatbush is the West Indian community, Haitian community. But then when you go further down Avenue I, Avenue H, that's when, there's some white folks sprinkled in there. You got the Jewish community, but definitely when you go further down, you walking down, that's when you hit some Italians, some Irish folks living. You still have some black people, say, over there by Huddy area, Huddy High School, and everybody know what I'm talking about. I forgot what street that was, but definitely around there when you got the Huddy, definitely it just started to switch over. But usually the last stop on the 2 train, you had some white folks that definitely got, but you could tell the difference. White people that were still in Lower Manhattan, and you could tell white people that's going home, that's getting off of Flatbush. It's just the way they dress, you know what I mean? It's the way they look, the way they carried themselves. It's just a little different. Yeah, but as far as weed concerned, yeah, you got to be careful who you get your weed from. We had a couple people that we buy weed from, and then, it was all good. But with this fentanyl, some new shit, man. I'm telling you, this fentanyl, I don't know why there's people that are walking demons, man. Fentanyl, they were saying even a little dust, and they were showing the amount of what it would take to kill you if you consume fentanyl. And I'm like, that, it's like a dusting. It's nothing. All of a sudden, people just like, and you got to cover your nose when you do that, because if you inhale, you get affected by it. What type of person are you where you are literally giving out death to individuals and you're selling it to them that is laced with fentanyl? That's crazy. And I think Michael K., my brother, was doing something that he even know that it was fentanyl. Correct me if I'm wrong, folks, but it sounded like it. So you got to be careful who you buy your weed from. That's pretty much, a long story short, how you do that. So unfortunately, all those people have to die to deal with that. Anyway, so the borders are shutting down again. This is the crazy thing. The borders are shutting down in South Africa and a couple other nations. So we have this new strain. It's called Omicron. I think that's what it is. Let me just make sure. Omicron. So we have this new variant called Omicron of COVID-19. They said it was coming out of South Africa and a couple other African countries. And so they shut down the border. Nobody could travel back and forth to and from African nations into the United States. And a lot of people were feeling that was a little premature in the United States part. And it turns out, as slowly but surely, the information that was coming out, it was sure that, yes, the United States did get it wrong. So Dr. Joe Fowler, the South African health minister, he was saying there was no basis for South African people to panic. The scientists are still working on the transmissibility of the virus in the area. And also speaking at a media briefing, Dr. Salim Abdul Karim, he's actually the director of CAPRISA, that's the Center for the AIDS Program of Research in South Africa. And he was saying that a lot of the evidence as far as this Omicron that was spreading in South Africa is anecdotal. It's nothing that's solid information. He actually said the current diagnostics test can identify this new strain. I think they were saying out of the 3 genes that was making up Omicron, they can identify too. And they were saying there's no sound, reliable clinical data to say it's worse than the previous virus in South Africa, and no reason to suggest that the current treatments are not useful against the variant, and all the other measures that are taken as far as 6-foot distancing and wearing masks are still effective to keep the spread of this new strain from getting around. So, I don't know why the United States was so quick to shut down the border to South Africa, and I found some other information dealing with that, and it actually was on Twitter. And we have a doctor, MD Ingrid Katz. And it was retweeted by Ava DuVernay. They were saying, I want to be clear about the new variant. This was on Twitter. She says, we know what we know because South Africa, and because is in capital letters, South Africa has invested in advanced genomic sequencing. We owe them a debt of gratitude, not punishment. Transparency is critical in a global pandemic. We need to support these efforts collaboratively. Look at that. As the time goes, the information slowly comes out that people weren't just running around spreading this new strain of COVID-19, but they actually identified it in South Africa from the scientists there, and they were informing the global community that they must be aware of this new strain. But yet, no, the journalists ran amok, and said, oh my God, we have a new strain that's going crazy in South Africa and other African. We got to shut the border down. Now they look like fools, and this is all searchable. You can check for Ingrid Katz, MD. Ingrid, her Twitter is INGRID, Ingrid Katz, KATZ, MD. You can go to her Twitter. And actually, I also found her on LinkedIn, and she shared her Twitter post on LinkedIn, and she says, I quote, there are times when you put something out there that really touches on a nerve. This was one of those moments. I'm really grateful for the traction this has had, mostly because I want this to be a warning bell for the world. We cannot continue to treat countries as less than and more than. We are all in this together, and I invite anyone who wants to engage in this discourse to reach out to me. We need to be in solidarity as we confront this global pandemic. And people were sharing. She was getting a lot of attention on her Twitter post. And as I said, because of how AIDS has ravaged South Africa and Africa in general, African medical community has done a bang-up job as far as having the latest, most advanced facilities and methodologies in identifying diseases that affect the community. And they were actually identified the strain, as I said, and they were sharing it with the global community. And the funny thing is, this is the wild thing that came out. Oh, and the wild thing that came out that it didn't start in South Africa. It actually started in a lot of European countries. Now, this is the wild thing. I found something else. So we have a gentleman by the name of Graham Codrington. His first name is Graeme Codrington. He's a speaker, expert on the future of work at tomorrow, today global. And he actually said this, and I'm reading this, and so listen to what he had to say. Once again, the world's media is reporting, quote, South Africa has a new COVID variant, unquote, as if the variant started here and is infecting us all. And he says it's in capital letters. Can I say this again? More loudly for the idiot journalists at the back, colon. South Africa has one of the most sophisticated and advanced infectious diseases infrastructure on the planet. Some of the world's leading epidemiologists work in South Africa. We've had to develop these capabilities to deal with TB and AIDS and other diseases ravaging our continent. It is no surprise that our medical system is the first in the world to identify new COVID variants. It is no surprise that we led the world in clinical trials of vaccines. What is a surprise is how lazy journalists write headlines, colon, quote, new COVID variant in South Africa, unquote. No, this new COVID variant has been found in New Zealand, England, Brazil, France, India, Indonesia, the Philippines, and other places. South African scientists isolated, sequenced, and understood it first. Report that fact, but don't start all over again with putting, quote, South Africa is unsafe, unquote, into people's heads. Amazing. And that's what we're dealing with when we're talking about, quote unquote, American exceptionalism. But what we really want to say is American ego, as if the American Society of Medical Community is the only advanced medical community in the world apart from Europe. No, there are a lot of countries that have a very healthy and advanced medical community, like Cuba. Cuba goes to a lot of different places that are suffering from diseases, and they help them for free. South Africa looks like their medical community is advanced because they had to deal with AIDS and other diseases that ravaged Africa, and because of that, they have been at the forefront of taking care of diseases that affects the people in South Africa and other countries on the continent. So here we go again, trying to put some sort of a dark veil over the African continent and continue to think and perpetuate a stereotype that Africa is the dark continent, and they can't possibly figure out their issues because they're just nothing but African people on there, and we know how Africans are. So let's come on, folks, let's be real. You can find these people on Twitter. You can find these people on LinkedIn. They actually want to get you. Do you think the actual news that reported about this new strain in Africa, you think they're going to retract the statement and put out the real information out there? No. That's why I do believe in social media when it does work for people. And I do believe in alternative forms of information and sources of information out there. Because if we just rely strictly on the news sources that we have entrusted over the years, of course, that's something that we've been conditioned in up into the ages we are at now. I'm talking about your 30s and 40s. And you're well conditioned in your 20s when we go to CNN and we go to Fox and we go to MSNBC and we see these handsome and beautiful people are sitting in these how should I say, futuristic sets, and they're at their desks and they looking nice in their ties and their blouses and dresses, and they look educated and they're clean cut. And as I said, they're just attractive to the eye and they're not going to tell us wrong. No, they do get it wrong sometimes. And sometimes they get it wrong on purpose, because they want to spread a narrative that America is here as far as the higher level and the rest of the world is not. We couldn't be more wrong. And that's why we're in the situation. America is in a situation that it is in now today, because we are lying to ourselves that we do not need any help, that we do not need to kind of look inward and see where our shortcomings are so we can improve the areas that are falling apart. It's crazy. So shout out to those folks that really want to put Africa in the right light as it should, especially when it comes to Corona. So I implore those folks in the international community, or dealing with the international community, to raise or how should I put it, take away these border blocks that are on South Africa and other surrounding countries. Open them back up, show them some respect, talk to them, ask them for the information, exchange information, and let's deal with this the right way as far as making sure that we don't have a global pandemic as we're still dealing with today. Oh, man, this is crazy. So the last few things I want to talk about, shout out to Kevin Hart, man. Kevin Hart did a movie called True Story. Actually, it was not even a movie. It was a series on Netflix. And one of the major stars, supporting characters on it, was the great Wesley Snipes. My man is a veteran. He's a legend, and he doesn't get the props as he should. It played his brother in this close to, kind of in a lot of ways imitating Kevin Hart's true real life story, as far as him being a comedian. So I'm not going to give it away if anybody didn't see it, but pretty much it covers him going back to Philly, him doing some shows, and then once he gets there and sees his brother, and he chops it up with him, he gets in some business. So yeah, I thought it was actually going to be a real story based on the title, But it's you know, it's kind of a flip, man. It's got they borrow some real life situations, and they go into the character. Kevin Hart's character's name is Kid, into that storyline. So I suggest, please, people, after you hear this, definitely go check out True Story. Shout out to Billy Zane, man. Billy Zane, he played Ari, the one of the characters on there. Billy Zane has been in this business for a long time. I always call him the mascara guy because he always looks like he has mascara on his eyes, man. Billy Zane, from young Billy Zane to now, he's still around, and shout out to him. Theo Rossi, he played Gene. William Catlett, he played Herschel, the bodyguard. Lauren London was in there playing Kevin Hart's kid's wife or ex-wife. John Alice played Nikos. And Chris Diamantopoulos, oh my God, he played the other character that you'll see, Savas. Yo, shout out to my man. He was actually on the HBO series. It's done now. It's over. It was Silicon Valley. He played one of the rich guys in Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley was all about founders on the come up in San Francisco, and he played one of the rich people. Yo. Yo, one of the things I always loved when he played the dude, he was like, he fucks, right? He fucks. Meaning, he fucks, meaning, yo, he's a man, right? Yo, he must be the man because he fucks, right? So, yeah, I loved, shout out to my man. He's a very talented dude, Chris Diamantopoulos. Hopefully I'm saying that right. My bad if I'm tearing that name up. The script was dope. It definitely had some twists and turns to the story, some things that I didn't even peep, that I wasn't even expecting. And that's what you got to do, especially when you're educated. You're well versed in how Hollywood movies go. It's like, okay, yeah, I know that. Yeah, sure. I figured that out. But definitely, I didn't think it was going to go the way it was going to go. And Kevin, again, he shows his acting ability, that this guy really has acting chops. And I love when comedians, especially if you are a comedian that's done several movies and of course, funny movies, and you always think, yo, can they pull off a drama? Can this particular, and I felt the same way with Robin Williams, talented comedian. Yo, super talented comedian, Robin Williams. And I always thought, man, can he pull it off? Because sometimes you get typecast yourself in those slapstick kind of funny roles, and people get tired of it. And it's upon the actor to see if they could stretch beyond what they usually do and do drama roles that's really going to like pull on the emotional range of the viewer and see if he could really touch nerves. Kevin Hart is it. Now, remember, Kevin Hart did Fatherhood on Netflix, and that was a pleasant surprise. Him really reaching into himself and pulling it out, and he did his thing. And right here, this movie, True Story, it solidifies Kevin Hart as a true-to-life actor. He's more than just a comedian that does slapstick and those quick, sometimes, lowbrow jokes. He can really dig into a character and really bring it out. And big ups to, I see a lot of good things. Shout out to his agent. Shout out to his production company. True Story was actually done. Let me see here. It was done by, it was created by Eric Newman. Eric Newman, there was a bunch of writers. The primary directors, I think it was 7 episodes. Primary directors was Hanel M. Culpepper and Stephen Williams. And the writers, to some, was Matthew Kellard. Of course, Eric Newman, that played a part in the writing task. Glenda L. Richardson, she was an executive story editor. Also Cameron Litvak, Devon Shepard, Janelka James, Jashika Ashell James, and also Gladys Rodriguez. They all had a hand in writing an episode or episodes. And big ups to all these people that played a part in making a dope movie. And of course, this was done by, let me see if I could get it was done by Kevin Hart's production company. Let me see here. Company credits. It was Grand Electric. Of course, that's Eric Newman's company, production company, and Heartbeat Productions. So this definitely shows that Kevin Hart is really taking this serious and really doing what's necessary to come out with quality material. And I think that shows a difference. Maybe it's just me. It shows a difference on the material that comes out in the traditional sense of Hollywood and getting a big studio to do a movie and getting all different types of the veteran quote unquote writers and producers everyone to create a movie. And to me, it tells it's in the DNA of the movie. How it flows differently from what he would traditionally do from the movies that he has done with other big movie studios. And I think this is the way to go for not just Kevin Hart, but for everyone. People that's going down Kevin Hart's road. Will Smith has definitely done it. There's Bright. I like Bright. Matter of fact, that was a follow-up in Bright. Will Smith did. And Bright, as far as the sci-fi, modern or current day movie setting of taking a fantasy with orcs, and also in what would happen if you take, say for instance, what's that movie called, The Hobbit, and what would happen if those orcs in The Hobbit kind of lived throughout the ages. And they were still here in like modern day New York or modern day LA. So that's what Bright was about, with a little fantasy edge to it. It did. I liked it. There were some scenes that I would have changed, because it was kind of like, I wouldn't have said that. It's kind of been used over and over again. But Will Smith did his thing, and I thought it was a great idea in its raw form. Originally on paper, I think it was a great idea. I think it could have been done a little differently. It did great in its first week numbers, but not a lot of people liked it. I more lean towards liking it, and I would have given it a second chance. I don't know why it was taking them so long to do a Bright 2. Probably it was a schedule thing, but Will Smith definitely is doing Bright 2. David Ayers directed the first one, and you have a Louis Leterrier, a French guy, Leterrier. He's gonna direct this new one, and lo and behold, who is one of the producers that's gonna do this one, Bright 2, is Brian Unclis, Ray Angelic, and who else? Eric Newman, the same dude that worked with Kevin Hart in True Story. So I'm looking forward to Bright 2, and I'm looking forward to more stuff from Kevin Hart, and definitely looking forward to more stuff from Wesley Snipes, man. Where you at, brother? Where you at? So yeah, there's definitely some bright things that's coming down the pipeline as far as Will Smith is concerned, other than Bright 2. And big ups to True Story and Kevin Hart and everyone that was involved with making a dope series. So yeah, folks, that was it. Yo, I appreciate you guys listening to me. I'm gonna get out of here and get into some other things and prepare. It's the end of the new year. And hopefully you guys have come out on the other side of this 2021 tunnel, bigger and better person. But of course, I'll talk more about that in the last few weeks of 2021 when I roll out the last few shows. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys listening to me. Love you all. I'm out. See you guys next week. Peace.
Check it.
You just listened to GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com, for the global community.
We worldwide, baby.
See you in the next go round. From right here to your town, we out.